right. Good morning, everybody. I'm super excited that Dave asked me to do this. Like he said in the last meeting, I got certified a couple years ago, and my main reason at the time was to come back and be a full-on yoga teacher while I was continuing swimming. But it actually kind of shifted to really deepening the practice for myself. So I learned a lot about anatomy, and breathing, and really brought it into what I do as a routine pre and post swimming. So I'm gonna kind of walk you through a routine that I actually do almost every day before a meet, and just like in my hotel room, I'll wake up an extra 30 minutes early and go ahead and do this routine. We'll do that for today, and then maybe on another session we can kind of work through a recovery session as well. So that's kind of the cool thing about yoga. You can use it in so many different ways. But for me, I've used it as kind of an activation technique pre-workout, and then a recovery technique post-workout. I know I can't see all of your faces, but okay, most of the screens are turned off. I don't know how often or if you've even done yoga at all, any of you, but we'll kind of go through slow and try and make it kind of basic for today. Like I said, I just want to kind of share with you my routine. If you can pick out a couple stretches or a couple things that really resonate with you and maybe start one of your own routines every day before practice, that would definitely help you, both just getting your body ready and mentally just like centering yourself and getting yourself focused, ready to go. So having said that, I have Cindy, who has was voluntold that she was going to be my test subject this morning, so it's easier for me to be able to watch her, give you guys cues, and just really focus on like making sure that we get all the cues right for this, at least the first couple times. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm assuming that everyone, David, do you know, does everyone have like room to stretch and move? Okay, cool. All right, so let's get started. So we're gonna start off in a seated pose. So either crisscross applesauce or like Cindy is in butterfly position. So just find somewhere on your mat and go ahead and close your eyes. And start paying attention to your breath. Notice where it's coming into the body, where it's coming from. And notice how it feels exiting the body on your face. Inhale through your nose. Even deeper exhale through your nose. These next two start to really deepen your exhale. Good. And from here, we're just going to start with some slow movements to open up the spine. So we're going to do a side bend to the right. So place your hand as far down as you can. If you can get to your elbow, that'd be great. So your right hand down on the mat, left hand comes up and over, palm facing the front of the room. Just get a really nice, gentle side bend. And take a couple deep breaths here. Good. On your next exhale, go ahead and switch. So the left hand comes down to the mat, right hand comes up and over. Try and keep both of your butt cheeks on the ground, so you're really just getting a bend through your spine. Good. And back to center. From here, we're going to come up into a tabletop position. So on all fours, somewhere kind of in the middle of your mat. Stack your shoulders above your elbows, elbows above your hands, hips over your knees. So you got a nice 90-degree angle and a flat back. From here, we're just going to work through some cat-cows. So on your exhale, go ahead and round your spine, push through your shoulders, gaze at your belly button. And on your inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze to the ceiling for cow. And work through that a couple times, just on your own, breath to movement, On your next inhale, come back to center. From here, we're going to go into a few bird dogs to start to warm up our core just a little bit. So go ahead and extend your left hand forward and your right leg back. So opposite hand, opposite leg. And imagine that you're getting pulled to the front of the room with your hand and someone's pulling your ankle towards the back of the room. So really feel a stretch coming across your body all the way from the tops of your toes to the tops of your fingers. And try and keep it here in one straight line. So don't want your hand coming up and your foot dropping. Try and stay in a nice flat plane. Good. Your next inhale, we're going to do a couple crunches. So bring your elbow to your knee under your body and really focus on pushing out through your right hand and keeping the rest of your body still. The only thing that should be moving is that left hand and right leg. We'll do 4 crunches like that. 2 more. 2. And 1. Good, and exhale and come back to tabletop. Same thing now with the right hand. So right hand extends to the front of the room, left leg comes back. Again, take a second here to find your alignment. So be sure your hand and foot are all in one plane. Imagine like you have someone pulling your fingertips in one direction and pulling your toes to the back of the room. You should feel a nice cross body stretch from toe to fingertip. All right, go ahead and move into crunches. On the exhale, bring your knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Make sure you're pushing through that left hand. Extend. 1 more, knee to elbow. Exhale, extend. Good, go ahead and drop back down into tabletop. From here, we're gonna go into bear pose. So stay in your tabletop position. All that's going to happen now is you're going to tuck your toes. So instead of your tops of your feet on the mat, tuck your toes in. And you're just going to lift yourself about 2 inches from the mat with your knees. So your knees just come off about 2 inches. You should feel this pretty heavy in your core, your hip flexors, and your quads. Good, and then on your next exhale, we're going to come into downward facing dog. So push your hips up and back to the back of the room. And really try and work to get this upside down V position. As much as you can, try and get your heels down to the mat. But the most important thing is to really try and imagine that you are exactly a V, just flipped upside down. So push through your hands, engage all 10 fingers on the mat. And imagine like you're opening we'll open jars of applesauce. So slightly just rotate your hands just a little bit outwards and really engage your shoulders. The insides of your elbows should be facing each other. Good, and your head just hangs heavy, letting gravity pull your head down. Good, on your next inhale, look to the space between your hands. And slowly walk your feet to meet your hands. And just hang there for a second. We call this ragdoll pose. So grab opposite elbows. You can bend your knees for more of a lower back stretch or straighten them out a little bit more for more of a hamstring stretch. But you're just letting gravity pull your head and your back down. And start to shake out the neck again. We're going to nod your head no. Nod your head yes. Good, 1 more time, nod your head no. Nod your head yes. Good. On your next inhale, we're coming to a halfway lift. So hands against the shins. Press against your shins with your hands, moving the weight towards the front of your toes. So I could slide a piece of paper underneath your heels. It's almost as if you're gazing over the edge of the cliff. And really use your hands to make sure that your back alignment is nice and flat. And exhale, forward fold, let it all go and just relax in the forward folds. Next inhale, we're gonna come all the way up to mountain pose. So slowly start to come to standing, raising one vertebrae at a time, nice and slow, until your head is the last thing to rise. Hands are gonna come up and overhead. Good. You can clasp your hands together and gaze at the space between your hands. Your next exhale, we're gonna go into reverse cactus. So you're gonna cactus your arms like a goalpost and then slowly come into a back bend. So just push your hips forward just a little bit and start to open your chest to the front corner of the room. Nice. And this should feel like a pretty good stretch all along the front of your shoulders. Inhale back to mountain pose. And exhale, dive down into your forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift, hands against the shins. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat and either jump or walk your feet back into a high plank position. You're gonna stay here and hold this for just a second. Again, start to engage all 10 fingers, imagining like you're opening some jars of applesauce. You wanna keep your head and hips in one line. And again, imagine like you're getting pulled from the crown of your head towards one direction and energize through your ankles as if you're getting pulled into another, in another direction. Okay. From here, slowly start to lower into a low plank. So keeping the elbows right close to your body, come to hover over your mat in a low plank just for a second, and then push up into upward facing dog. So your chest shines forward. Now you're on the tops of your feet, keeping your legs active and just slightly off the mat. Nice. From here, go ahead and tuck your toes again and push back into downward facing dog. Nice. So that little sequence right there is what we call Sun A. So now we're gonna work through that a little bit faster, just a little bit more breath to movement. If I'm going too fast for you, just always go at your own pace, of course. But we're gonna try and speed things up a little bit and start to get our bodies warmed up. So from downward facing dog, gaze at the spot between your hands, jump or step your hands to meet, your feet to meet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale, root to rise, come all the way to mountain pose to stand. Your hands meet at the top. Exhale, reverse cactus and baby back bend. Inhale, back to mountain, hands come up above your head. Exhale, forward fold, swan dive forward into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands on your mat, jump or step back into a high, then a low plank into your upward facing dog. Make sure that you're on the tops of your feet for that, keeping your legs engaged. Good. And then next exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to work through that one more time, but we're going to add on just a little bit here. Okay, so gaze at the spot between your hands. Jump or walk your feet to meet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale, root to rise. Come all the way up into standing position. Hands up overhead. Exhale, baby back bend. Cactus your arms. Push your hips forward for a slight back bend. Inhale, back to mountain. Hands to meet above your head. Exhale, we go into a T-spine rotation. So drop your right hand. Drop your right hand behind your back, and you're coming as if your whole body is one big T. Nice. So try and keep your hips squared to the front of the room. The whole rotation is just coming from your spine. And again, imagine that you're getting pulled in two separate directions. On your next inhale, back to center. And exhale, drop that left hand down to the back of the room. And focus on the rotation from the spine, keeping your hips squared to the front. Imagine that you're getting pulled from your fingertips in opposite directions. Inhale back to center. Good. On your exhale, we're coming into a chair pose. So you're going to drop down as if you're sitting in an imaginary chair, giving your hips back. Make sure that you can see the tops of your toes, so shift your knees back a little bit farther than you probably think, keeping your knees together. And as much as you can, try and almost tuck your tailbone a little bit under, so you want to avoid having a big sway in your back. You want to keep your back nice and straight. And this should burn a little bit. We're getting those quads nice and warmed up. From here, we're going to go into a chair twist, so bring your right elbow over your left knee. Good. Again, focusing on just twisting from the upper spine. So try and keep your hips as much as you can, still facing forward, and avoid dropping down to your right leg. Good. Inhale back to center. Exhale, chair twist to the right. So left elbow comes to the outside of the knee. Really press through your elbow to get more rotation and try and lift up and out. Good. Back to center. Exhale, forward fold, let it all go, and release. Nice. Inhale, halfway lift, palms to shins. Exhale, forward fold, plant your hands, jump or step back into your high plank. Exhale, come down into your low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Good. From here, we're going to move into our warrior sequence. I guess we'll get right into it. On your next inhale, lift your right leg high. Bring your right knee to right elbow. Lift your right leg high again. Bring your right knee to your left elbow. A little bit of a twist there. Exhale, bring your right leg high. This time you're going to swing your foot all the way through to the space between your hands for a low lunge. Good, and then go ahead and lift up into crescent moon. So it's pretty much just a low lunge with your hands overhead. Good. From here, we're going to open up into warrior two. So go ahead and pivot your back foot to face the long edge of your mat. Your hips are going to face the long edge of the mat. Your front leg just comes into a nice 90-degree bend, so nice and deep. And your hands come out to a T. Good. Okay. Make sure you keep that nice low bend in that front leg. And gaze over your front middle finger. Keeping your hands nice and energized. It shouldn't be wimpy warrior arms. You want nice, strong energy through your arms. Good. Your next exhale, we're going to shift just a little bit forward into extended side angles. So just shift your upper body. And you're going to come tick-tock your arms into 6 and 12 with your elbow coming to the inside of your knee. Top palm comes to face the side of the room. And you're trying to keep that low bend. All you're doing is getting a nice side stretch. This pose is pretty uncomfortable. It should feel uncomfortable, but you're just starting to open up that left side body. Good. On your next exhale, come back into warrior two. So come back to center. And inhale for a release. So we're going to go reverse triangle, straighten out your front leg. Tick-tock your arms again. So your left hand should be on your back. What is that, your right leg? Left leg. And you're getting a nice opening through that right side body. Good. From here, we're going to windmill our hands back down to frame our top foot. And come back all the way down into your low lunge. Kick that right leg back. And optional to meet in downward facing dog, or option to work through another vinyasa. So if you want, go ahead and drop that right leg. So option to hang out here, or if you want a little bit of an extra movement, go ahead and come into your high to low plank into upward facing dog. It's totally up to you. Just pay attention to how your body feels. Good. And we all meet back in downward facing dog. Nice. All right. Same thing on the other side now. Kick the left leg high. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhale, kick your left leg high. Left knee, right elbow. Inhale, kick your left leg high. Exhale, bring your foot all the way through between your hands into a low lunge. So nice low lunge, 90-degree bend through that front leg, and you're just slowly lifting, steady and controlled, all the way up, hands above your head. Good. From here, we're going to open up into our warrior two. So pivot your back foot down to meet the long edge of your mat. And check right here that your heel-toe alignment, that's going to help your balance. So your front heel should be about in the middle of your back foot. So if you're over too far this way or opening too far to the left, it's going to be a little bit harder to balance through the series. So just take a look right now, double check that your left heel is in the middle of your right foot. So right along your arches. Nice. Good. And let's get that nice deep bend to the left leg. Big energized arms. Nice. And on your next exhale, we go into extended warrior. So just slightly shift your torso to the front of the room. And we're going to TikTok our arms again to 6 and 12. Getting little to no weight, but you're pressing lightly with your elbow and the back of your palm into your left leg to really get a good rotation through your side body. Good. And if you can, go ahead like Cindy's doing and try and gaze up at your right hand. Good. Like I said, this pose is uncomfortable. You just got to breathe into it. So keep noticing your breath as you work through it. Good. On your next exhale, we come into warrior two again. And inhale, reverse triangle. So straighten out that front leg. Lightly just slide your right arm down your right leg. Bring your palm to the back of the room and really open up your side body here on the left side. Nice, good. From here, big movement. We're going to windmill our arms back down to frame our foot. Rotate your hips to the front of the mat. And go ahead and kick your left leg back to meet the right. Option again to hang out here in downward facing dog, or if you want another vinyasa, you can go ahead and take it. That's the high to low plank to upward facing dog. Very nice. All right, we're going to move through this sequence again, breath to movement, so a little bit faster this time. If you're feeling a little bit lost, it's okay. This will take a couple of times, and once you get it, you'll be able to just like flow through it on your own, super, super easy. But most importantly right now is really just pay attention to your body alignment. That's definitely the first thing we want to put focus on. All right. Here we go. Lift your right leg high. Exhale, right leg or right knee, right elbow. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, right knee, left elbow. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, swing your foot through, low lunge. Hands come up overhead for a crescent lunge. And exhale into your warrior two to the side of the room. Good, nice 90-degree bend. Inhale, extended side angle, so shift your torso slightly forward. TikTok your arms 6 and 12. And exhale, reverse triangle, straighten out that front leg. TikTok your arms, so Left hand meets your left leg. And windmill your arms back down to frame your foot. Kick your right leg back to meet your left. Downward facing dog. Option here for another vinyasa. Option to stay in your downward facing dog. From high to low plank. Upward facing. Downward facing. Good, we move right into it. So left leg comes high. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Exhale, your left leg high. Left knee, right elbow. Exhale, left leg high. Exhale, left foot comes through. Inhale, low lunge. Come up for a crescent. Good. And exhale, big opening to warrior two. Inhale, extended side angle. Shift your torso. TikTok your arms 6 and 12. And exhale, reverse triangle. Straighten out that front leg. Reverse TikTok your hands, little to no weight, and get a nice stretch to your side body. Good. On your next inhale, go ahead and windmill your arms back down to the mat. Exhale, release your left leg to meet the right, downward facing dog. Last vinyasa here, optional, or go ahead and stay in your downward facing dog. So high to low plank, upward facing, downward facing. Very nice. And take a second here just to connect back to your breath. So notice how your body feels now that we've done many downward facing dogs. Hopefully your hamstrings are feeling a little bit looser. Your breath and heart rate are a little bit higher. And take a second to slow down your breathing. Notice where it's coming from, where you feel it on your face as it leaves your body. All right, from here, we're going to move into a little bit of a core sequence. So go ahead and just find a seat on your mat. Good job, everybody. For those of you that I can see your video. We're going to work through just a few of them, and then we're going to go into some restorative postures. But this is a good way to activate your core, again, pre-swim or pre-practice. Because we should be swimming all from your core, so it's important for yoga as well to have a very strong core. You may recognize some of the movements, they just call them different things. So we're going to start off in a boat position. So go ahead and bring your knees in front of you, like seated with your knees in front of you. Tuck your legs. So put your feet on the floor and tuck your knees up towards your body. There you go. Good. Sorry, my instructions were clear. But once you have a position like that, we're going to go into what's called a high boat position. So from here, you have the option of either just lifting your arms off the mat and leaning back just a little bit, so your torso is at like a 45 degrees, palms up. The option to stay here. I challenge all of you should have strong enough cores that you can go ahead and lift your feet off the mat. Nice. The more you can go into a reverse tabletop position with your knees, the harder it's going to get. For even more of a challenge and maybe something to work to eventually would be to straighten your legs in this position. Yes, you can go ahead and bend your knees there. Okay. For now, go ahead and bend your knees. We're going to work from high to low boat. So it's essentially a big crunch. So you're going to go from high, go ahead and straighten your body out and get lower to the mat. So drop yourself down. Good. Keep your feet and your head above the mat and your hands off the mat. Inhale, come to high boat. Good. Exhale, low boat. Inhale, high boat. Exhale, low boat. Inhale, high. Exhale, low. 2 more. Inhale high. Exhale low. Nice. Go ahead and shake it out for just a second. So let yourself lay down on the mat. You can release your core. Good. From here, we're going to go into climbing the rope series. So go ahead and just lift your legs straight all the way up to 90 degrees. Flatten out your feet to this, stamping the ceiling. Good. From here, we're basically just going to do, it's called climbing the rope. So you're going to reach towards your feet with your left hand, and then switch to you're reaching towards your feet with your right hand. And get some oblique movement here. Nice. So come up as high as you can. Making sure that you're still breathing as you do this. Inhales, exhales. Good, let's get like 5 more total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now both hands up to reach your toes and small little pulses as high as you can for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead and release. Next. Okay. We'll do last one for the core sequence. Let's go into a side plank position. So you should be on your back right now, so just roll over to your right side. Okay. So right elbow on the ground. And feet out nice and long. Option to stack your feet, or if you want to have your left foot in front of the other for a little bit more support, you can do that as well. Good. Arm comes up. And then from here, we're just going to do 10 leg raises. So your left leg is just going to come up. Just small baby movements for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Without dropping, go to a front plank and go ahead and switch sides. The left elbow on the ground, right arm comes up. Hold it for just a second. Good. And 10 leg raises on this side. Right leg comes up. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and come back to a front plank, elbows both on the mat. Hold it here. Make sure you have that nice alignment, so hips in line with the shoulders. Hold it for 5 more, you got it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and release all the way down to the mat. All right, and then go ahead and flip over and come to a seated position. Okay, hardest part's over. We're going to be on the ground from now on. Okay, let's see. We'll do some nice hip openers. So I think a lot of times as swimmers are really tight through our hips, and then that affects the rest of our alignment through our spine and shoulders. So we'll do some nice hip openers, and then a little bit of shoulder and upper rotation as well. So let's come first just into a forward fold. I know this is a pretty common stretch. Something I know that I was taught when I was swimming is you want to like grab your feet and just like try and pull yourself down as much as you can. I want you to get rid of that right now. Very bad habit. So what I want instead is from here, you're going to actually raise your hands up and almost like lift yourself up and then round your spine forward. So imagine that I'm actually like here pulling you up a little bit, and then you're reaching towards your toes, totally bending from your hips until you find your spot that's kind of uncomfortable, and then just drop your hands. You don't even have to grab your feet. You don't have to pull yourself down. Just let yourself hang. If you have any sort of like pillow or something that can kind of prop you up right now, that might be helpful. If not, just let your body relax as much as you can. Let your head fall. And just breathe. It should be a pretty good stretch through your hamstrings and kind of towards the side of your glutes. And all these postures that we're gonna work through right now, we won't hold them all for 5 minutes like we can, but if you have time, and I know you all do have time right now, especially these deep stretches, it's good to hold them for like 3 to 5 minutes to see the most benefit. And I know 5 minutes sounds like a long time, but if you have some like nice relaxing music playing, and if you're really just paying attention to your breath, it really will fly by. And you'll kind of start to notice as the 5 minutes goes by the end, you might be able to even like touch your head to your knees. Even if you are very far from that right now, do this every day for a week for 5 minutes and you will get there. Good. Slowly start to roll your back up, just like we did before, so your head is the last thing to rise. Nice. Now we're going to go into some supine rotation, so bring your right leg up and over your left with your knee bent. Good, left arm comes up, right arm comes right behind your tailbone. And again, a lot of people want to use this to like push themselves into rotation. Really focus on lifting up before you place your right hand down, and then slowly start to rotate over with your left hand. Your left elbow meets your right leg. And get a little bit of push on that elbow, but really for the most part, think about lifting up instead of just pushing yourself sideways. On your next exhale, see if you can deepen just a little bit more, continuing to lift up. On your exhale, really deepen that rotation. Inhale, go ahead and unwind. Bring your legs back to center. Left leg comes up and over the right. Your foot should land as close as you can to your right knee. Keep it planted there on the mat. Left or right hand comes up. Left hand comes right behind your tailbone. Remember to lift up first and then rotate. And then go ahead and bring your right elbow to meet your left knee, getting a little bit of a push, but a little bit of a rotation there. Nice. Okay, go ahead and release. Your arms back to center, legs long in front of you. We'll move into reverse butterfly. So everyone knows butterfly position, or you bring your soles of your feet to touch, bring your knees bent. Yeah. Good. And then from here, just slowly, as much as you can, lower yourself down onto the mat. So you're laying all the way down, but you have a nice butterfly stretch. Again, this is one of those postures you can hold for 3 to 5 minutes. To get really relaxed for the 5, I normally recommend putting like some sort of pillows or towels beneath your knees so you can just let your hips really fall open. And use your breath to channel it into those parts of your body that feel uncomfortable right now. So imagine your breath directed towards that spot, and allow that to let you relax that spot that maybe is a little bit uncomfortable right now. Lean into that uncomfortable feeling. And deep inhales, even deeper on the exhales. Good. And then We're gonna finish with Savasana. So option to either stay like this or just go ahead and straighten your legs out in front of you for our final pose. And just let everything relax onto the mat. Notice where your body comes in contact with the mat. Notice how your breath feels entering and exiting your body. And start to inhale feelings of gratitude and happiness. And exhale feelings of doubt and any negativity. Slowly bring your attention back to the room. Start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Start to do some circles with your wrists, circles with your ankles. Okay. When you're ready, go ahead and come back to a seated position. And that is all I have for you this morning.
Thank you, Linnea. This is my quarantine hair, by the way, before I wet it.
Oh, hello.
As a treat this morning. Those of you tuned in, this is what Kristen wakes up to every day. Thank you, Linnea. It seemed to be good for Kristen. I didn't get up early enough.
Well, luckily, we got it recorded, so David, you can do this later on. You don't have to record it. But we trust that you're going to get it done. Linnea, is that something that you do? You said you do this in hotels before competitions?
Yeah, so I have just like a little portable yoga mat. I just find that being in a quiet hotel room is better for me mentally than being on the pool deck. I think once I get to the pool deck, I'm a little too like hyped to go, so I'm not able to relax quite as fully. But some version of this, I try and wake myself up like half an hour before just to get moving. It also just gets you into a mental space where you're totally focused and dialed in. I think it's easy just to wake up in the morning. Like I used to set my alarm literally like 5 minutes before I had to leave the house. And I was always kind of scrambling just to like wake up, brush my teeth, grab something and go. But I've found that ever since I've been waking up half an hour earlier instead and having a set routine leaving the house, that I'm able to just be more mindful and like ready to go when I do get to the pool instead of just scrambling and kind of like all over the place once I do get there.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Will we be able to do this again?
Yeah. Next Wednesday, same time, same place.
Time, same place. And as long as Cindy and the cat make sure they're also, we're good.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And my back thanks you.
Yeah, good. Good. Awesome. Thank you guys.